Can they defeat the enemy without losing the unit? Hello everyone! In today's video, I'll be talking about the buffed Berserkers. For a long time, the meta was dominated by shield units, and while the line breaker doctrine was added a while ago, I initially passed on making a video because their attack frequency was simply too low to be viable. However, since the recent buffs seem to have addressed this, I've decided to put them to the test and show you how they perform. Let's get into it. Here is the veterancy route I used. Since the rage gauge builds up faster than before, I chose the top line to focus on improving their survivability. These are the newly added unit masteries. The main major changes are an increase in unit count, more multi-hit attacks during Skill 3, and an extension of Skill 3's duration. This unit was originally strong, but because they lacked shields and couldn't break blocks, they struggled in a shield-heavy meta. But as the game state has shifted, they've become viable again. They have 3 active skills. The first is Odin's Charge, which allows them closes the distance to the enemy. With the top veterancy route, this grants a 10% damage reduction buff for 10 seconds. When I checked the maximum number of targets, it appears to be 1. The second skill is Berserker Assault. It doesn't track as aggressively as Skill 1, but it still closes the distance to the enemy. Using this skill triggers a passive that boosts firepower and grants a 24% damage reduction buff. The trick is to use it frequently since the cooldown is short. Upon testing, the max target count is 2, and it appears to perform a double hit combo. The third skill is Frenzy. This is the unit's main source of damage. While active, their damage increases and they become immune to crowd control, but it's a double-edged sword as they take 35% more damage. Even less experienced players can rack up kills easily with this. By the way, the initial hit of this skill seems to have a guaranteed block break effect. However, as you can see in this scene, it's difficult for them to chip away at blocks with subsequent attacks. Testing showed the base target count is 1, but for multi-hit attacks it increases to 2 or 3. New or returning players might not know this, but equipping this specific doctrine completely changes the unit's performance. Let's take a visual look at the difference. Having this single doctrine drastically changes how quickly they wipe out enemy units. I've covered the verification of this doctrine's effects in a previous video, so check that out if you're interested. Now let's take them into a real battle. I could just show scenes of them hunting low-level NPC tier players and say, easy mass kills, but I don't find that interesting. Instead, this video will showcase a Berserker killer Berserker build and how to pilot it. This unit is incredibly strong against weaker foes, but they struggle against equal or stronger units until their buffs are stacked. Therefore, to ensure an advantageous start, I went with the following doctrine build. By stacking 16% damage reduction, this style allows you to mitigate incoming damage during normal states or while using skill 3, all while building up damage reduction stacks. I also equipped the Balance Doctrine. While it increases damage taken as your firepower goes up, this unit's passive skill effects negate that downside. Next, let's talk about positioning and tactics. Simply put, the style is to stack damage reduction buffs faster than the opponent. Here is the skill that makes it possible. Normally, buffs don't stack unless you attack the enemy, but you can force stack them by doing the following. By using this skill, you can gain 4 stacks at once, granting an immediate 24% damage reduction. Furthermore, since this stacks with the damage reduction from skill 1, you can instantly reach a 32% damage reduction state. Here's what that looks like. While that's good enough, there's an even more advanced technique. Here's what that looks like. By layering the buffs up to 3 times, you can instantly gain 60% damage reduction. However, from an efficiency standpoint, it's better to buff twice and then immediately start hitting the enemy to gain stacks. Combined with skill 1, you can reach a 64% damage reduction state instantly. When you add the damage reduction from doctrines on top of that, you reach a 70% damage reduction state in an instant.
By the way, this skill also has a healing effect. Upon closer investigation, it restores a certain amount of HP 5 seconds after the healing effect appears.
Finally, let's see if they can take down a higher tier unit. I'll test if they can win a 1v1 against the Modal Battalion, currently the most picked 5-star unit on the battlefield. Even attacking from the flank, they can't win. After testing their usability, the conclusion is they struggle against higher tier units on their own. They can easily handle 4-star units, but against 5-star units, they need allied shield units for support. Also, since they are uncontrollable while skill 3 is active, they tend to attack targets you didn't intend to hit.